Eighth Grade is the debut feature film from writer-director Bo Burnham. It stars Elsie Fisher as Kayla Day, the titular 8th grader navigating her final 5 days in middle school. If you've seen the other videos on this channel, it's probably pretty clear that I love Bo Burnham. His most recent work, an hour-long comedy special about fame and performance and parasocial relationships, literally changed my life. His articulation of the way he struggled as a celebrity and how that mirrors growing up now meant a lot to me and helped me to articulate and engage with some of my own anxiety. So it follows that 8th Grade was easily my most anticipated film of this year. The first time I saw it was on July 13th, the day of its limited release, in LA, and it was followed by a Q&A with Jake Ryan, Elsie Fisher, and Bo. That was a strange experience to me. It was like watching a new Star Wars movie. The body of work the film is adding to is so monolithic that you're just trying to absorb the events in a literal sense. And when you come out of it, there's barely even a sense of good or bad or specific critique or whatever, because, you just saw a Star Wars movie. So this was my Star Wars. And so when I walked out of the theater that first time, I wasn't even sure if I liked it. I thought I did. In fact, I thought I loved it. But I also knew that I need another viewing or two for that to solidify and for me to put my finger on why I loved it. Cut to 3 weeks later, a couple of days ago, and 8th Grade finally opened wide and hit my hometown. I saw it again and loved it. A lot of people have been calling this a coming-of-age film, and I don't know if that's correct. Yes, it features a young protagonist, as well as situations unique to adolescence, but I think that the mission of the film is less nostalgic than a coming-of-age film. As Bo has joked about in interviews, he was never a 13-year-old girl, and, perhaps more importantly, was never a 13-year-old girl now. Typical coming-of-age stories have this rose tint to them, an idealization and articulation only available in retrospect. 8th Grade doesn't have that. There are ums and uhs all over the place, panic attacks in bathrooms, and memes galore. But it's not a purely objective view of a teenager today. In fact, I'd argue that 8th Grade's whole mission is empathy. It blows up moments that are objectively tiny, Kayla entering the water at a pool party, doing karaoke, making a phone call to an acquaintance, and make them feel like the most important things in the world. This is wildly effective in that it makes it super easy to empathize with Kayla, even if you never were a 13-year-old girl. Bo applies that same technique to his depiction of anxiety, a depiction which is among the most accurate in contemporary film. Take the pool scene, for instance. Kayla has been invited to a pool party by a cooler girl at school because her mother forced her to include the weird, quiet girl. As she enters the pool, the music swells, a big booming track composed by Anna Meredith, and we see silent shots of the kids around the pool. And what's so incredible about the scene is the way Bo shoots the kids. For lack of a better way of putting it, he shoots them as aliens. They're contorting into strange positions, glistening with the chlorine-filled pool water, and wearing exaggeratedly bright colors. And that way of viewing you as you and everyone else as the other is anxiety to me. In that scene, I was Kayla, and I'm a 16-year-old Indian boy, so Bo Burnham must be a magician. And of course, Bo can't be given all the credit. Elsie Fisher's performance as Kayla is remarkable and genuine and makes her feel like a real teenage girl. Probably because she, is. Josh Hamilton and Jake Ryan are also highlights as Kayla's father and Gabe, respectively. Really, there's only one scene that I disliked in this film. And actually, I don't even dislike it, I'm just struggling with it. Towards the end of the movie, Kayla gets to shadow a high schooler named Olivia for a day, and they become friends. Later, after school, Kayla calls her, and Olivia invites her to the mall with her friends. On the drive home, after dropping Olivia off, an older male friend makes multiple sexual advances on Kayla. Now here's the thing, I think the scene on its own is very well done. It is tense and creepy, but still realistic. The way Riley, the older boy, tries to coerce Kayla into taking off her shirt is rooted in the way creepy boys act and the rhetoric they use. However, the reason I struggle with it is that it feels antithetical to the rest of the film. Like I mentioned earlier, the whole idea of the movie is to take small moments in Kayla's life and have us feel the way she does because of them. However, this type of sexual coercion is objectively a big deal, and kind of dwarfs going to a pool party or confronting some girls who are mean. I guess the implication with it is that this is a part of the female experience for better or for worse. But that point is already made by an earlier sequence in which Kayla entices her crush with the opportunity of dirty pictures. I don't know. Bottom line is that I don't have the experience needed to clarify how realistic this is. All in all, 8th Grade is a remarkable piece of filmmaking and one of my favorites of the year. It is the only film I've ever seen to portray social media, meme culture, and anxiety correctly, and for that I am very thankful. It is full of incredibly personal, assured writing and direction, as well as genuine funny performances. I think this is a great addition to Bo's body of work, and I hope to see many more films directed by him.
Gucci!